So I wanted to make this short video on adapting to change. How do we deal with sudden change in our lives? Change is something that happens all the time, but now a lot of us are feeling it more than ever, with quite radical lifestyle changes and challenges that are presenting themselves in our lives. So weaving together the principles of holistic well-being, ancient wisdom and permaculture, I want to put together some points that I really feel would help with anybody adapting to any kind of change right now, and to help you start to thrive through these challenging times. The first point that we start with is ourselves. So in permaculture we talk about zones. The zone 00 is yourself, is the center of yourself, and then zone 0 is our immediate environment, and zone 1, it gets wider. Now we're all being drawn back into this immediate zone of ourselves at the moment, and our immediate homes, zone 0. So this is a time to really center and ground, and really go inwards to develop that sense of awareness, but also that sense of peace and that sense of calm, regardless of what's ensuing around us in the world and in our lives. I hope you can hear me over the breeze. Please feedback and let me know. So what I've done is I've looked at a design process from permaculture called Obredim, where we start with observing what's going on with us. So starting with that centering point, we start to observe how we're feeling, what's going on with us within that moment, and we start to observe what our needs are as well within this moment. So that observation part of Obredim, which is that O, is the really looking at, really taking time to review, to reflect, rather than moving from a state of panic or urgency. It's pressing the pause button and taking a moment to pause and reflect. The next thing that you would start to do is really observe what your desires are as well. So if there are things that have been stopped at this moment in your life that you were really enjoying, focusing on how you can channel that energy in other ways. And if there was projects that you were developing, focusing on how you can still adapt to achieve those desired aims, but maybe in a different way. So taking the blinkers off and really opening up our minds to looking at different ways of doing things, and adapting to our current situation, which would then involve looking at our boundaries. So what are our limitations? So boundaries is the B in the Obredim. Boundaries, and what are our limits? So some limits are self-imposed. There are limits that we put on ourselves, like self-limiting beliefs, and there are also fixed limits. So for example, at the moment with the lockdown, we have limitations as to where we can go and who we can come into contact with, and we have limitations with how we can make a living perhaps, or how we can interact with our communities. So we observe and we make note of those. What are the limits? What are the boundaries around our feelings, needs and desires? So resources is looking at what resources are available to us right now in this moment. What resources do we have within ourselves, our skills, our strengths, our qualities? Looking at our hobbies and interests as well as resources. We tend to maybe put them to one side and dismiss them as skills and strengths, but our hobbies and the things that we have passions for, those are resources within ourselves as well. And look at resources that are available to us on a practical level as well. So looking at what we have at home available to us, looking at what our needs are there as well around food. Have we got the capacity to grow food at home? Have we got places around us where we can forage food? And medicine as well, medicinal herbs, medicinal plants that we can grow and forage around us. And looking at the resources around time, around how we heat our homes, around how we have electricity, what we need to be covering cost-wise and things like that. We then look at the design element of Obredim, which is about creation. So creating a routine, so designing a routine that supports that balance, that supports our feelings and our needs and our desires. So some sort of a timetable can be good, but putting in to that timetable so it's not too rigid, and you can be quite fluid with it, but putting into that timetable a really healthy morning routine and an evening routine that helps with our flow throughout the day, and then putting into that timetable what are the fixed non-negotiable things, what are the necessary things, and what are the things that we desire. So the self-care, the self-love, the things we want to be putting our energy into, maybe new projects, new ideas that we're developing. So putting them into our timetable, but getting that balance with the things that we need to do, the interactions, the relationships we need to support, perhaps if we're parents or partners or carers, and also the self-care and the growth of what we're evolving out of this period of time. The next stage of Obradim is to implement. It's to start looking at implementing the resources that we've got, start putting them into action, maybe and also looking at the resources that we need as well. So start implementing, maybe ordering some seeds if we want to grow from home, implementing learning about foraging if we want to do that, or whatever it is. I'm just speaking from a personal perspective, but also a practical one, looking at what it is that we want to be implementing. So what we want to put into that timetable, that design of our routine, our day, our week, and then putting into action how we implement that. So starting to putting that into action. And then maintenance is the M of Obradim. So making it something that's sustainable, making it realistic, making it sustainable, making it achievable, and then rewarding ourselves throughout that process as well. So having acts of kindness and self-love that reinforce and encourage this routine that we're developing. Now I want to share with you the centering exercise, and also just share a little bit personally that I am still very uncomfortable making videos, so I do apologise, and if it's coming across a little incoherent. I do aspire to be able to get more fluent with this and be more fluid. So please feedback, constructive feedback is welcome. I do want to improve what I'm doing. It's very new to me doing this kind of thing. So a great opportunity for me to focus on centering, which is something I did a little bit of before I started the video, which really helped. And one way I like to do that, I like to get my feet on the ground if it's possible, get my feet on the earth. We get lots of natural therapeutic benefits from putting our feet on the earth, the ions of the earth that are great for our body. There's plenty of resources out there that show the benefits of barefoot walking and barefoot contact with the earth, and this obviously helps us to ground. It just gives us a connection to nature, our planet, Mother Earth, and the beauty of that as well. But it grounds us, it connects us with the earth, and it anchors us down. So if you're able to do that, that's great. If you're not, you can still ground and center by bringing your awareness inwards and starting with the breath. So just start by observing the breath. Where you feel that movement of breath in your body. The sensations of breath as it flows in and out through the nostrils or the mouth. And if you can, aim to breathe through the nose. So noticing where that movement is in the body as you breathe. Set an intention for the breath to deepen and to slow down. So to breathe into the abdominal area of your body, expanding with the in-breath and contracting with the out-breath. And notice how your body feels right now. If there's any areas that you're holding on to tension, and allow those areas to relax. Bring some small movements to the body, to the joints, to help relieve any tension. And focus on those areas as you breathe. So with the in-breath, focus on the area of your body. And with the following out-breath, relax. Let go. Let it soften. And you might not feel an instant softening or an instant change, but it's a cultivating practice. So continue to be with the breath and just setting that intention for the body to let go and relax with each out breath. Find a comfortable position and allow your eyes to close if they're not already. And if it helps, put your hand on your abdomen, so just above your navel, on your belly. And as you breathe in deeply, aim to push the hand away with the in-breath as you expand and fill the lungs. And with your next out-breath, just draw the navel gently back towards the spine, contracting and expelling any excess air. And just find a natural flow and rhythm. Don't force or strain the breath. Just allow it to naturally and gradually deepen and slow down. And then notice how your body feels. Without judgment, just accepting and acknowledging. Feeling where your body makes contact with the surface beneath you, the ground or the chair, or the surface that you're on. Becoming the observer. And notice how you're feeling right now, what emotion you have. If you can name a feeling without judgment, just accepting whatever's present for you right now in this moment. And as you continue to draw your awareness inwards, notice any thoughts that may drift in and allow them to drift back out with the breath. And know that however many times those thoughts return or other thoughts go through the mind, that's a natural part of the process. And just accept, don't judge yourself for those thoughts. Accept and allow those thoughts to drift in and drift out like clouds, and bring your awareness back to your breath. Slow, deep abdominal breathing. And allow your spine to stretch upwards and the crown of the head pulling up towards the ceiling or the sky above. And relax into that. Knowing that whatever goes on around you, in your personal space or in the world around you at this time, that you can still find a sense of peace. You can still come back to the breath as an anchor. So if we get jarred out of an experience, we just come back to noticing the breath and coming back to our center. I hope that's helped, and please give your feedback, and subscribe and share if you want to. You might want to wait till I get a bit better these videos, and I should stop berating myself. There's a self-limiting belief. Okay, I wish you well. Signing off with love. Bye.